Hello, fight fans. Welcome to another episode of More Than a Fight podcast. As always, I am your host, Jose Alfredo Alcázar. And to the left of me, we have
Fun.
And then behind the camera, we have
John.
And this one is dedicated to the world of boxing. And of course, this weekend, we have a huge fight at 135 pounds for the undisputed title between Devin The Dream Haney against Vasiliy High Tech Lomachenko. And as always, if you like our content, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out our other social media sites. That being said, Juanillo, who do you have in this one? Or how do you see this one?
Damn, like this, just pick it, huh?
Yeah.
I see Lomachenko has something to prove now, so he has a little chip on his shoulder. He says he's healthy. I hope he is, so we get the best version of him. And Haney's been, on their good days, they're both dominant. Haney's been dominant. Lomachenko, both losses, I think, are questionable.
Agreed.
So
more so against
no, for Salido, yes.
Yeah, Salido, yes.
I mean, sure, Tio was fading at the end, dude. He was bringing it to him. So, nah, dude, I'm excited. I know Haney's much bigger. Is he faster? I mean, they're both super fast. I don't know.
There's a lot that we're going to touch on because I'm just, for me personally, it's hard for me to go, okay, this and that, because you're right. Devin Haney's the much bigger fighter, or naturally bigger fighter, without a shadow of a doubt. The more consistent fighter as far as fights period has been Devin Haney, for obvious reasons. Loma's been out of the ring. For those of you who don't know, obviously because of what's going on in Ukraine. That being said, with the one John showing right now against Ortiz, I thought Lomachenko looked like Lomachenko in spurts, but also Ortiz did land some shots.
Ortiz
on
is
him.
very good too, though.
Yeah. We have to also give credit to Ortiz that he was in there with a world-class fighter and he did not back down. Man, it's tough. The only reason for me that it's tough is, and you tell me how you feel about what I'm about to say, is
okay.
And John, the only reason I think it's a close fight is for the simple fact that Devin Haney doesn't have the power to knock Lomachenko out, in my opinion.
He says he does, but no, I agree. I don't think he does. Lomachenko, if he figures out a way to get in there, dude, it's gonna be a tough night for Haney. That's if he can figure out how to keep his distance and just jab, which Lomachenko's been calling, all you're gonna do is jab. I know how to get in. If he gets in, it's not gonna be a good night for Haney. I think Lomachenko fights better inside. So.
Well, that was what Loma was saying, was comparing it to Ryan Garcia and his left hook. He was like, I know a jab. So if you are telling me, he was talking to the reporter, if you're asking me about the jab, and I know about the jab, you know what I mean? So I can deal with it effectively. It makes sense, you know? At first I was thinking Haney was going to win, but more and more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. Loma, the footwork, the movement, it's going to give Haney problem.
And he has a chip on his shoulder too, because he lost, and no one likes losing.
Oh, of course not. No, yeah. and like you said, yeah. Not only that, but the biggest chip he has is his country. I mean, what's bigger than that as far as Lomachenko's concerned? He knows that this win would mean a lot to the Ukraine, just like when Alexander Usyk beat AJ the second time. It would be a huge what's the word I'm looking for? Huge
celebration for the country.
Well,
I don't know.
No, but a huge win for the country in a symbolic sense.
Right.
Oh man, I want Devin Haney to win because I would love to see Devin Haney take on Shakur Stevenson.
Agreed.
But that being said, just based on what I've seen from Lomachenko throughout his career, and here's the number one thing I want people to understand who always say that Lomachenko isn't as good as he is, which is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Vasiliy Lomachenko's best weight is 130, even 126. Those two weight classes are his best and where he can dominate. But he chooses to fight at 135 because it's more challenging. So for those of you people who don't understand that, listen again. He fights at 135 pounds because it's more challenging. He can dominate at 126 and 135. I'm sorry, 126 and 130, which he can make the weight with no problem. But 135 is more challenging.
He also gets the fights easier at 135. They moved up.
That too.
I guess Klima's his promoter, his manager said that no one wanted to fight him at 126, at 130. He wanted to unify the whole time. So it forced him to move up to 135 to get fights.
And speaking of which, unfortunately, the fight we never got to see was Mikey Garcia against Lomachenko. I wanted to see that fight so bad, and we never got it. It sucks. But anyway, I digress. So I'm gonna take Lomachenko.
I just haven't seen Lomachenko lose, obviously Haney either, but 24-year-old versus a 34-year-old. I know they're making a big deal out of his age, but I don't think Lomachenko's regressed, dude. Now I don't know.
No.
I don't agree with the experts. The experts all picking. Well, I mean, the odds makers are picking Haney.
Well, rightfully, I could see why. It's easy to make the argument.
Haney got caught. I mean, he did dominate Kambosos, but he did get caught a few times.
Yeah.
And he's not a left. I mean, a lefty might give him a little trouble also. Linares caught both of them, to be truthful.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, because that's one opponent they have in common is Jorge Linares. And like Juan said, Linares hurt Lomachenko, one of the first ones to really put Lomachenko down.
And then he hurt Haney, but luckily for Haney, it was at the end of the round.
He made it out of that fight. But no, you're right. Actually, Jorge Linares did take both of them. Push both of them pretty hard.
But if Haney wins this weekend, I mean, dude, it's hard to say because, he's going to be the best at the weight, right? Obviously. But then there's Shakur also. So
oh, yes. And that's the biggest spotlight there waiting for them. Because we all know that it's not going to be Tank because ESPN has all three. Shakur, Loma, Haney. At least right now. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is Devin Haney's last fight under contract with Top Rank. But for argument's sake, the winner should be fighting Shakur Stevenson next, which is one hell of a fight, regardless of who wins, whether it's Devin Haney or Lomachenko. Whoever fights Stevenson, it's going to be great. I'm going to take Loma, like I said. Juanillo, who do you have?
I did. I couldn't pass up Loma at the odds he was at. So mentally, I think he's gonna win, and I think he has all the tools to win too. Right. But so does Haney. But I'm in Vegas. Betting on sports is tempting, and then I did put money on Loma. So I really think Loma's gonna win.
John,
I said Loma.
Like I said, I think leaning more and more Loma. Like I was initially like, oh, Haney's got it in the bag.
Right.
You know, just because one, he's fought 3 times in a year comparative to one with Lomachenko, right? But then 2 of them was against Kambosos. So, maybe.
But that wasn't his fault. That wasn't the contract.
I'm just saying that Vasiliy Loma's a different beast, and I think that's kind of gonna make what the difference makes up for it. So, I'm leaning Loma.
I mean, it's hard though because Devin Haney does have the size. He's got the youth. And that's why you can argue the speed. It's just if he had a little more punching power, I would definitely go Devin Haney. But because of that fact, I don't believe he's going to be able to keep Loma off with his power. That's why I think Loma has a very good chance, if not a great chance, to upset Devin Haney. Even given their age.
But
And a quick shout out to my buddy my good friend Reggie Hobson training Devin Haney. Conditioning, that is, not as his corner, but conditioning. If you watch the ESPN Blood, Sweat, and Tears, you'll see him on there, Reggie Hobson, professional trainer. So if you guys want to look him up, please do. But there you go. Those are our picks. I think all 3 of us, right? We're all taking Lomachenko.
I know. People might think it's funny because, we're going against the grain, but that's what we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty stacked card. The next card we have is Junto Nakatani versus Andrew Moloney.
Is that Nakatani's first fight outside of Japan? I'm not sure. I didn't look, but it might
be Junto.
So
Yes.
he's undefeated. I mean, I've been watching his fights. He's a freaking beast. Moloney, we're more familiar with. We've seen him fight a few times. I mean, he's great. His brother just became champion.
That's what I was gonna say.
And he has a chance. Man, that'd be great if two brothers can become champions.
I feel like it's a different animal. I mean,
yeah, I just don't see
it'd be great to go from one weekend to the next and crown championship after championship as far as brothers are concerned. But to me, Andrew has a tougher task than his brother did last weekend. Not to take anything away from his brother, who beat the very tough Filipino Astrolabio.
No, he's very good, yeah.
Japanese fighters are just a different breed. I'm
In
not
these
trying to
lower weight
disrespect the
classes,
Philippines, but
they're a beast.
if you know anything about Japanese fighters, whether it's boxing or mixed martial arts or kickboxing, anything to do with fighting Japanese, they are just a
Filipinos are good
different
too.
breed.
So-
yeah, but Japanese fighters are different.
So Nakatani has fought in the U.S. one time on the Oscar Valdez Conceso
What do you fight?
Oh.
I don't remember.
Angel Acosta.
Oh, okay. Acosta's pretty
TKO
good.
in the 4th round.
Yeah, and Tito Acosta, he's good. Okay.
Yeah,
makes
no,
sense.
yeah.
But my pick is Nakatani. I think he's just too strong. He hits too hard, and he's too skilled. That's all I have to say. Even though Moloney is skilled,
Yeah,
I think Nakatani wins.
and I think that's kind of the problem. It's gonna be like another Inoue kind of deal.
Yeah, I was gonna say that again, I don't want to disrespect Astrolabio, but I feel like Juan's right. Nakatani has he can go to different gears, and that's where Astrolabio failed last weekend. He only had one gear that he could really go to, and Nakatani has shown he has more than one. And again, Japanese fighters are just a different breed. I agree with Juanillo. I think Nakatani's going to take this one. I hope I'm wrong because it would be great to see the brothers win back-to-back weekends, especially becoming champions. That would be great for Australia. But unfortunately for Moloney, he's taking on one of the best. And again, bantamweight, make sure you guys pay attention. Whenever you see bantamweight fights, especially to this level, they're always going to be great. And I believe this one's going to be the exact same. And this one should be the co-main. And I'm pretty sure it's not.
I think it is.
I could be wrong, but I think it's Oscar Valdez and Adam Lopez.
Yeah, let's go to that one. So that's a rematch.
Yeah.
First fight, Lopez gave Valdez all he could handle.
Mhm.
I mean, and Lopez was an unknown back then.
And we were actually at this fight.
Yeah, we did go watch it. And then, Lopez is on a little not good streak right now.
Mm-hmm.
Valdez is just trying to get back to it.
Yeah.
But they're basing it off of their first fight, which was great. But I see
Yeah.
Valdez running him over this time.
Yeah, I was going to say Valdez needs to win this fight by TKO. Or obviously just end it within the 12 rounds.
Yeah, nothing much to say. I just think Valdez
Yeah,
wins.
no. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this one being the co-main. I
don't
think
think
it
it's the
should be the
co-main.
one we just talked about, just because it has more intrigue, and it could potentially be a better fight. We've seen this one. Valdez should win this fight without a problem, but then again, we did say that about Rolly.
Oh.
So let's see what happens.
Rolly did win without a problem. What are you talking about?
Yeah, sure. According to Tony Weeks.
Murataya, this one's gonna be good because
Mhm.
Nakatila just beat
El
Alacrán,
Alacrán.
Berchelt. But Berchelt seems like he gave it his all against Oscar, and he's not the same.
No, you're right. You're
But
right. Unfortunately.
and then he was too small, I think, in this weight class.
Right.
So Nakatila did outbox him, did outpower him. That was a surprise. And Murataya has been he got hurt last fight, came and knocked out the guy. But
This one could be
this one would be very good.
This one might be the fight of the night.
I think Nakatani, Moloney. I mean, either one of those three could be fight of the night.
Oh,
Well,
no.
Well, even if Valdez and Lopez fight like the first one, it might. You never know.
Okay.
They're all good. Potentially they're all.
Maybe the card is a lot better than I think. Now
Yeah,
that we're like going over it, I'm starting to.
But
think
I
No,
got
this
Murataya.
is definitely a stronger card than last weekend.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh
missing any
no,
of
it doesn't
these.
even compare to last weekend.
Yeah, I'm not missing.
And
any of
then
these.
on the undercard of that, you also have Nico Ali Walsh.
Yes, that's right.
Emiliano Vargas.
Emiliano, yeah, one of our Fernando Vargas's kids.
Abdullah Mason. So it's a pretty unique card, I
No,
think.
yeah.
It's-
The early fights are intriguing too. There's a lot of young prospects there, and like you said, Emiliano being the standout name there. And then of course, we mentioned this one, but earlier in the day for us, later in the day for the UK is going to be the return of Katie Taylor against Chantelle Cameron, and this one's for
In Dublin.
undisputed. And
Not
that's
in-
right. Yes, it's her homecoming in Ireland, in Dublin, as John mentioned, at 3 Arena. And of course, there's also the caveat that Conor McGregor is sponsoring this fight.
The Blackford Stout.
That's right. So
Yeah,
that's
he's got a
pretty
new
cool.
beer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's doing beer. He's doing a Guinness or what?
Yeah, it's a
stout?
Blackford Stout.
Yeah.
He met up with Eddie Hearn just recently at the
Huh.
Black Forge Inn, the restaurant he owns. And pledged support the funding. Who knows?
Yeah,
Because-
and he stuck to it though. That's what Eddie Hearn said. He's
Good
like,
stuff.
"Hey, man, this dude stuck to it." When I went back to him, he's like, "Hey, we're gonna actually do Cameron instead of Serrano, because originally, for those of you who don't know, it was gonna be Amanda Serrano, but due to an injury, it got delayed, and obviously Katie Taylor still wanted to fight,
I'm excited for this.
and this
so
is
they're both
great. I'm
undefeated.
super happy for Katie Taylor because
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, this is actually her first fight in Ireland throughout her entire career. She's put on great fights and has never once fought in Ireland until this fight, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, and their last fight against Cara.
Carvajal, yeah.
Yeah,
And that was in Wembley.
so it should be interesting.
This is a tough fight to pick
Oh, yes.
because Cameron is that good. Also,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and she's a little taller.
Yeah, she's a champion too, though. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
know,
like
yeah, it's
It's
this is
unified.
not going to be. But this is Katie Taylor's style. She doesn't seem to like to fight
people that come
any
at her.
fighter. She wants to fight. Period. And Chantelle Cameron's gonna come after her without a shadow of a doubt. I think this might be the fight of the night,
Of the day, the night, everything.
the entire day,
Yeah.
the entire night. Because Katie Taylor to me is one of the best boxers. Period, male or female. So this one could be great.
And then
Chantel's good too.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's what makes it a
Chantelle
great fight.
Cameron coming off her win off McCaskill.
Yeah, twice.
That's right. Jessica McCaskill. Yep.
So
Yeah,
how do you
dude.
guys see this fight going?
I'd say Taylor, but if Cameron wins, I'm not surprised.
I
She's
think
that good,
Katie's
too.
gonna win. She's gonna hurt her.
Might be controversial.
At some point, she's gonna hurt Cameron, and I think that's what's gonna give Taylor the fight. But Chantelle Cameron, man, it's gonna be a great fight. I love it when these types of fight happen, especially for women's boxing, because then they set the bar so much higher for men's boxing. Granted, the main event on the men's side is gonna be one hell of a fight with Lomachenko and Devin Haney, but this one could be the fight of the entire day, like
Yeah,
Juanillo
you
said.
never know,
Yeah.
and don't miss it. Yeah, it's gonna
And
be
then on
good.
the undercard, we have a couple very good fights, actually. We have, what do you want to touch on, John?
We can start off with Dennis Hogan versus James Metcalf for the IBO World Super Welterweight.
So it's Hogan's hometown, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so another homecoming for
Okay.
him. He's been fighting in Australia a lot lately. He did have a rough run, but I mean, it was against
Against top opposition.
top
Yes.
opposition. Jamel Charlo. Who else was it?
Munguia.
Yeah,
which he
Munguia
possibly beat.
Yeah,
and
you
Tim,
could easily make the argument he beat Munguia.
and Tim Zhu. You know,
Yeah.
so he went to Mexico, to the U.S., to Australia.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. He's one of
I'm
those
not familiar
dudes.
with Metcalf, honestly.
I've seen Metcalf fight a few times. He's a tough guy.
Okay.
And the only problem is with Metcalf, I feel like he takes too many punches, but his style, he's just a brawler. But the dude is tough.
But I'm taking.
it
Hogan.
wouldn't surprise me if Metcalf wins this fight.
You never know. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm
what do you
taking,
want?
taking Hogan here. I think.
Well, he's gonna have the crowd behind him.
not only that, but I think Hogan's
More
a better
experience and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
go with that. And then the other female fight is women's fight is Cecilia Braekhus versus Terri Harper.
Yes, sir.
And Harper's up there too. She's
Oh yeah.
Braekhus is getting a little older. She's 41. Great record. But I think Terri Harper got this. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I know. And I would like to see Harper pull it off just because it would be good for her resume and maybe help her get back into that conversation of maybe fighting Alicia Baumgartner again, or just getting into the mix of taking on one of the champions.
Yep.
And then we have one guy on the undercard to keep a guy on.
Absolutely.
And it is Jack the Diva Cully versus Jose Felix.
And Jack Cully reminds me of, like, I don't want to put this out of context, but he reminds me of Tommy Hearns in his body. He's
just tall,
the way
lanky,
he's built.
and
Yes.
hits hard as hell.
Yes.
It's hard as
I'm
hell.
not trying to put him up there with
He's
Hearns,
definitely not there yet.
but I'm just saying he's got that build. He's lanky. He fights in a certain fashion. Like Juan said, he's a hard hitter. And again, I know I've said this before. If you've kept up with our podcast, I want Ireland to have one of those guys where they're like, this dude could make some noise, whether it's in the UK or the US. And Cully has those attributes, but we don't know yet. We have to see him against better opposition. And Felix is a tough guy. We've seen him fight before. So let's see how he does against Felix.
Yeah.
Might be another Mexican spoiling over there. No, I'm kidding. I don't think
possible,
I don't
but
think
no,
so this time.
No,
but
what we've seen from Cully doesn't lead me to
No.
believe that's what it's going
I
to be.
don't think so either.
Yeah.
No, and especially it's going to be in Ireland. You know,
Oh yeah, there's that motivation too. But like I always say, there's also that pressure. Let's not forget that.
We have to give props due to Eddie Hearn
Mm.
and Matt Trabak. It's a nice card to bring out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even with missing Serrano, you know, they still bought a champion out, and I think the card's pretty well made.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good Saturday.
No, yeah. There's definitely they're gonna attract a lot of people, but obviously there's a lot going on that weekend in Ireland. But it's still, like you said, a great card. Overall, it's gonna be a great Saturday of boxing. We got the early card for us, and then the late card for us. In Europe, it'll be vice versa. Late, then they gotta stay up a little later to watch the fight. But either way, nothing but great fights on Saturday. Again, guys, let us know what you think. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out our other social media. And of course, thank you for tuning in. John?
Just bleed.